I can say the time I didn't write the letter, they made me look bad, but it was like 10 o'clock at night. Again, I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. And my real reason behind me not writing that letter was because the actual letter, which I don't think anyone knows about it, they're like, oh, it was a pivotal moment in your life that changed you for the better, right? And obviously I knew Athena was going to write about her son, and I wrote a letter, but then I'm like, I don't want a sob story. I don't want people to be like, oh, poor Adrian. That's just not my style. I watch it on TV, like when you used to watch Australian Idol and American Idol, and I'm like, oh, there's always a sob story. But the reality is everyone's had like a hard life, everyone's had a hard time, everyone's had a pivotal moment where their life sucked, and some people are worse than others. So I just didn't want to come across as, oh, poor Adrian. So I didn't do that for that reason. Like I used Billy's story. Like Billy's story was like a beautiful thing to hear, and it was nice. And more men should be vulnerable. But I didn't want that. I didn't want the poor Adrian, sorry Adrian, not wanting that. I got stitched up for that. But I should have handled it different. I should have been like, hey Athena, this is why I don't want it, because I don't want to look like poor me. I don't want to tell the world everything. I'm happy to tell you off camera, and I don't want that to take away from your story. So I still want to hear your story. That is how I should have handled it, but I didn't, because I was no excuse. Like I was done. Like I was tired. I was done. I was exhausted. I couldn't be bothered. I'm like, why do I have to explain my side to producers? Why do I have to explain my side to Athena? I'm just like, can we just be like, okay, and move on? But I was being inconsiderate to Athena, nothing else. And yeah, I mean, if we handled it like that and go back, that's how I would have done it. And I think that would have went down a lot better, and Athena would have understood. But I didn't. And we live and learn. And the main thing when I was going on the show as well, and I think everyone in life should do the same, it was like, my thing was, I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm going to go on. I know I'm going to do the wrong things. And I'll watch that back, and now I promise you, I am a bit like selfish in my ways, and I think everyone can be. I've been single for 4 years. You think you work on yourself for a relationship, then you get in a relationship and you realize the work that you've done was for yourself, but it wasn't for your partner. And that's what I realized real quick back in that situation. So I thought, I've done so much self-work, I'm aware, I've got a nice perspective, I've got a healthy mind, and I bring that into a relationship, but I actually brought my insecurities and trauma into this relationship, you can say, thinking that I wouldn't. And now, even now, I always found that because I'm like, I guess the best way to explain it is like, because I don't talk about my feelings and I don't really care to talk about them, I don't think like, I'm maybe old school, like I'm sad, like that's all good, just give me a hug, let's move on, I'll be over in 10 minutes. And I think the same for other people. I find it hard to regulate other people's emotions because I don't really deal with mine in that sense, if that makes sense. So like when I see my partner upset, I'm like, okay, I do enough, but I don't try to fully understand. And after the show, I realized that. I'm like, I need to be a bit more empathetic. I do empathy. And I get awkward if someone's upset, like if someone's crying. And even like my own family, like my mum could be crying, and I just wasn't raised in that. I wasn't raised in that environment. I was loved, but I didn't see love, so I find it hard to love people, if that makes sense. Even though I was always loved to death, the best mum in the world, the best parents, but I just didn't see it. So I struggled to give it to other people, if that makes sense. So like if Athena's crying, as much as I want to give her a hug, like, some people will relate to this and some people won't. Like if I see Athena crying, I want to give her a hug, I feel like it's forced. I feel like I got to force it, and that's not healthy, and I understand that. And that's what she needed, but I couldn't give to her until I had to get out of my comfort zone and then give her what she needed. And then I think we got through it. And it went the way it did. No, I don't speak to Jackie. She called me a couple of weeks ago. He gets some subtitles. I don't know, bro. Get them, find them. Subtitles are done. Who vaped? Like, I got on the vapes on the show, bro. I got hooked. I'm off them now. But everyone did at one stage. Karina's cool. It's probably the only person I didn't really get to know her in depth. But I hung out with her a few times with Paul and that, and she's cool. She's a nice girl. Everyone's a nice person. Generally, everyone is a nice person. Everyone's cool as. I'll catch up with anyone for a coffee, don't worry. She doesn't deserve Paul? Nah. Did Dave hook up with Veronica? Did I say that? Nah, 100% no. Who knows, but I highly doubt it. Dave's not the type of guy. I don't think Veronica would be that dumb enough to.